Hey guys, I'm Samcrac, and so far I've really enjoyed the Ferrari ownership experience. I've been able to do things like look at my Ferrari in its garage. I've also been able to take photos of my Ferrari to post on Instagram. Look at me, I did an oil change on my own Ferrari. Make sure you ignore the fact that I overfilled the oil on my own Ferrari. God forbid I actually drive this car. I mean, putting miles on it, that'll lower the resale value. The more miles I put on it might mean the more maintenance it will need, which can only be done at a Ferrari dealership. Alright, yeah, so the real reason why this car hasn't moved from the garage is because it doesn't work right. As you guys have seen, when you go to start the car, it kind of works the first time, but when you shut it off and do it a second or third or any time after the first, it just doesn't start up right. It misfires, sounds terrible, and won't even go into gear to move forward or backward under its own power. As of late, I felt pretty helpless. I thought that this was going to be the first rebuild project out of any that I've done that I was going to have to take into the Ferrari dealership. It was going to cost thousands in diagnosis and repair, in turn ruining the cheap salvage auction story that this car is all about. Now, I really lucked out, and thanks to you guys, you've proven that the internet is way more powerful than the Ferrari dealership. One of you guys sent me an email to a shop that specializes in Ferrari computer repair. By coincidence, this shop is only a few hours south of me, so let's hop in the car, hit the road, and pay them a visit. Man, it'd be nice to drive this car down there, but we'll have to settle for my other F car, my Ford Fiesta ST. Well, we made it. We're not going into the Peace Pipe shop. We're actually going right over there, Specialized ECU Repair. When I walked through the doors, I was greeted by Jose, the main tech at Specialized ECU Repair. He let me know there was an obvious issue with one of my Ferrari's engine computers, but before we tested it, he took me on a tour of their facility. We started off in the BMW test garage, which was incredible. In a garage that might normally fit 4, maybe 5 cars, there were 9 segmented BMWs, many of which came from a salvage auction. To save space, these cars were cut parallel to their dashboards, the floorboards welded to wheel casters, and the front end on wheel dollies for easy mobility around the shop, and gas tanks were run to an external fuel tank in the passenger footwell. All of these cars still run and all the electrical functions work, which is most important since these are cars used to test, repaired, or replacement customer control modules.
This one, for example, is a 335.
Okay.
It's a coupe 335 IS, and it's a twin turbo engine. And these computers are notorious to have problems with injector drivers.
Okay.
These guys over here, they burn. But not only that, they produce so much heat that the actual microprocessor dislodges.
Okay.
It's kind of like the same problem PlayStations have, where the microprocessor just, overheats and, gets out of place and nothing works. We found this was the most efficient way to save space and be comfortable. These cars, they even have the AC works and everything because the engine computer manage, the trigger of the compressor. Many times the problem is the compressor. We have to keep them in shape so everything works.
So in South Florida, if it gets a little too hot, you just come in here and crank up the 335, right? So where are the halves of the Ferraris at? They're in
No, not yet. This,
even a half of it of a Ferrari at the salvage auction sells for quite a bit of money. So.
Well, the next one we're buying is a Maserati.
Okay.
The Cambio Corsa, but no Ferraris.
Well, Specialized ECU Repair has repair solutions for several different BMW makes and models. Their most popular service is on the 996 and 986 generation Porsches, specifically the immobilizers.
And 996 of the early generation from 97 through 2005, the immobilizer itself sits on the floorboard of the car, and it is enough. A little bit of rain. If you have a torn up soft top, for example, or damaged sunroof seals, and you don't clean, those, the actual hoses that they take the water away from the car, the cabin will flood. Okay. And this is so low on the floorboard that this one, is the first thing that goes bad. We have, there's a little bit there, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have maybe 300 of those units.
So that's the most common failure then on 986 cars?
And 986 and 996. Okay. On the immobilizer itself. Okay. They just As a matter of fact, we have designed our own replacement.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
where are you getting so many? Yeah.
Oh, we have in big trouble right now.
Wow.
4 years ago, we used to get these things cheap. Now, even the dealership went up in price. They're $900.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so we decided to, go ahead and do our own design. I'll show you a prototype. The replacement immobilizer control unit prototype is this one. Our trademark or signature is making boards color red. And this is the original one. This is how it comes from the dealership. And this is our design. So we've been doing just final testing and it's pretty much ready to get it manufactured. And we've done, I don't know, I think we're close to hitting the 1,000 mark. The design, how was the actual original design was designed so, in a way, so robust that they manufacture components that were made for Porsche and Bosch. You cannot get replacements. So we have to salvage parts from the actual damage control units.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
of course, we test them and everything. But for example, this connector is made by Tyco, the company Tyco, but it's not sold to the public.
Sure.
Because it was only made for Porsche.
Porsche, yeah.
So we have to recycle the part and part of the microprocessor and other components. So of course you don't want to outsource and give all that to the to whoever can copy it. It's hard to copy, very
Sure.
hard, but I think it's possible now.
When I previously removed both engine computers from the Ferrari, I noticed that the part numbers differed and also someone had written on them. Jose confirmed that one of the ECUs had been replaced before, likely with just a random used part. When he plugged them into the computer to read the data is when we were finally able to track down the Ferrari's main problem.
We're flashing the unit, meaning that the tool, what it does is, first, number one, erase the flash memory is 512 kilobytes. And then uploads the software that we want to, the one that matches your version of year, and second, the type of transmission. That part number, 181.642, I'm sorry, it is actually, it was programmed by the factory for a manual car, for a 6-speed. So when we got your two units, what we did was to compare it against this actual number, 201.752, and we will look at the software. This one is for an F1 car. So that is the right computer to be in your vehicle. You cannot have two different softwares, one for manual, one for F1. The car is going to start, but it's not going to run right. So here's the replacement unit that we made for you. This one, we took the software out of this one. We make sure that the software is fine, and also there's two memories inside. We read both of them. We put the flash, the software for the engine is here, but also the most important part was to make the part where the immobilizer is going to communicate. We blank it out. It's kind of like it's a factory level, where when you're gonna put it back on the car, you're gonna flip the key for the first time, it's going to communicate with the immobilizer control unit, which is a small box. And the codes for the immobilizer, they're gonna go from here to the computer, they're gonna be married. So this set is gonna start on the vehicle without any issues. Yours, this is the 181.642, that was the manual one. And we're gonna compare this flash file with, I'll give you an example here. This is your computer, this is one of my computers. You can start seeing the binary codes. The red ones are gonna be differences in between the software. So if you start going down in differences, you can start seeing right here that softwares are different. We can see that is a Motronic ME 7.3, that is an F131 US version. But most important, down here, you can see the differences on software version, which is 181.642 was the manual transmission one. And for example, this one is an F1, 178.784. These two, the left and the right computer and the readings out of the two computers, they have to match 1-to-1. If there's 1 or 2 bytes differences, something else is going on. Either there's the checksum is not gonna be working, and you're gonna have errors with the let's say, ROM error or stuff like that that is not gonna even allow you to start the car. Software has to be one-to-one on the Ferrari, especially on the 360. Two computers, the software has to be the same on the flash area of the computer.
Following our module programming, Specialized ECU Repair made me 2 new key fobs for the 360. Like most salvage auction cars, the Ferrari only came with a single key and fob. When new, these cars actually came with a set of 3 keys and fobs, 1 that's red in color and 2 that are black. The red is the master fob, which comes with the security pin code in order to create a secondary remote if you ever need one. Lose this and forget getting a spare from the dealer, as George will now explain.
Alright, so at the dealer, you're going to start at about $1,000. Because the way that they sell it is they'll sell you the set of 3 remotes, the red, 1 red and 2 black ones. That's $1,000, and that is not programmed. So they'll just give that to you, and now it's your problem to figure out how to program it. But that, so going in that direction, you open up a can of worms. If you, for example, are the other kind of customer that you want everything figured out for you at the dealer, what's going to happen is that they won't want to open up that kind of worm. So they'll just sell you another alarm system, immobilizer, and interface. Let's say in your case of the 360. That's a $6,000 set. So that's just for adding 1 key fob. All of a sudden you go from something you think that is going to be $300 to maybe $7,000. As engineers and programmers, we know how to hack into the computers and decipher all the data, the secret codes. We manufacture our own parts. And that's really the advantage. It's really where the room is, because at the dealer, it's just that the parts are going to be scarce, and they'll be like extremely, out of control expensive.
This is a Bosch design, and you have a 12-volt battery with this is a 12-volt battery right here, 823, and these are metal tabs that these guys with time they just open up, and the battery leaks acid, because it's a nickel metal battery. And this is the original design. This is a design that we actually updated. We use a 3.3 volt battery. It's a coin cell lithium battery, can last 5 to 6 years. And we designed it the way that it's more reliable and it has a little bit better range.
With the new fobs assembled, Jose showed me a few other services they perform for my car. On the 360, the unlock and lock remote only works within a few feet away outside of the car. Their amplified remote antenna system works over 100 feet away. They also have an immobilizer defeat, so you don't have to hit the remote every time you go to start the car. After testing out a repaired ECUs, I definitely plan on doing both of these modifications. I think it will make the Ferrari way more modern and less frustrating. I had a great time meeting everyone over at Specialized ECU Repair, and it was a very successful trip, and I hope you enjoyed coming along with me. But it's time to get straight back to the shop and see how the Ferrari reacts when we install these new computers. That was one of the longest car rides ever, just based on the fact that I'm so anxious to install our ECUs back in and test this Ferrari out. What we're gonna do first is hook up our immobilizers back in the interior where they belong, and then we'll put the ECUs in place, make sure they're well grounded. Specialized ECU Repair, label each side. So this is the right side here, we've got the left side here. So let's hop in that interior and get to work. Our ECUs, plugs, and grounds are all tightened, but I have the brackets loosely connected again in case I make a mistake. Right now, all we gotta do is get in here. Let's snug this battery on. There's our noise. Let's try and start it up. My favorite part of this process, hearing the quality Ferrari noises. There it is. Quality. Oh, so nice. All right, I'm gonna do it one more time. Doors are unlocked. Key fob in. Now, I was instructed to just turn the accessory power on first. Oh my God, look at that. Check OK popped up. like instantly. Before it had all sorts of trouble, and then it would say check OK. Now I hear some clicking behind me, that's good. So they told me at Specialized ECU that I want to turn it on first, let it sync for like 30 seconds. That's just gonna adjust, I guess, throttle bodies and things like that. We can shut it off and do it again. But this is so exciting. All right, here we go, shutting it down. Turning the key again. Now I might have had to hit the immobilizer. Oh baby, check OK, here we go. ASR is active. There go our trouble lights. Our tachometer works. Oh my God, that was our problem all along. All right, I know I'm sweaty, I know I'm shouting, but guys, this is a working, running Ferrari 360 from salvage auction with, at this point, just some minor undercarriage damage, which we're gonna knock out very soon. Since I started this channel, I always wanted to show you guys that things are possible without having to take things to a dealership, because dealerships are just known for doing things in a certain fashion. And guys like Specialized ECU Repair, well, they do things differently, they're creative. We figured out a creative solution that costs, we're talking about probably 10 to 20% of what things would have cost at the dealership, and we still have a Ferrari 360 again from a salvage auction with super minor body damage. It's hard to understand, it's hard to comprehend sometimes that you could do this, but you can. And well, I want to thank you guys, because without you watching, I wouldn't be able to do things like gamble on a salvage auction Ferrari. I want to thank guys like Specialized ECU Repair for thinking outside the box and fixing the Ferrari 360. I'm going to go around, I'm going to snug up all the mounts in the engine bay, I'm going to snug up all the stuff in the interior now. We're going to get the silver wheels on this car, and let's take it for a celebratory drive. Let's see how it does here. Give it a little bit of gas. We got to warm it up though. Woo. Things were going pretty well for a few minutes. You might have noticed the flashing check engine light. That came back as a random misfire code, something I can't attribute to being anything really serious at this point because the car was driving pretty strong. And of course, at salvage auction, these cars sit a while, so maybe we got some old gas or something of the sort. As I was getting ready to pull the car back in the garage, a friend of mine from next door stopped me and we got a conversation going. He wanted to take a picture of the car, so I went and parked it, and here's what happened.
I haven't, but I like this kind better.
Yeah, I like that one better, but here, I'll put it right here, here. All right, guys, would you believe me if I told you that we were broke down again? So a really nice guy that works back here, he asked if he could take a picture of the car. I said, no problem. So I just kind of parked it up here on this hill for him. I thought it looked nice. And I got to talking to him for about 5-10 minutes, shut the car off. Then I went to get back into the car, like I am doing so right now. And I disconnected the battery just to see if this helps our situation, but I doubt it. I hit the immobilizer switch, which I will do once I get the keys out of my pocket here. All right, immobilizer switch. Everything should be good, although car's locked, so we're gonna unlock it. Key and the ignition. Now I want you to look. It still says check OK, so our ECUs are performing properly. We now have a transmission fault. And so watch this, we start the car. Starts up. When I try and put it in gear, listen for the click. All right, listen for the click. I'm putting it in gear, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let's go ahead. Let's try reverse. I doubt that's gonna do anything. Yeah, nothing. It just stuck in neutral. So I'm gonna have to push this car back. All right, 1, 2, 3, go! Run, follow, run! One shot, that never happens like that. Only in a Ferrari will everything be working perfectly in one moment, and then in the next you have an F1 transmission failure. Now luckily this car was parked up on kind of a steep incline, so pushing it in the garage, as you just saw, was very simple, and I don't really think there's anything majorly mechanical wrong because the car was shifting and driving just fine, and the check OK light still comes up on the dashboard, so our major electrical faults have been repaired. However, there's a lot of components that go into the F1 system, and there are a lot of small and large failure points, so it's time to dig in and start diagnosing those, which I'll be doing in the next episode of the Ferrari. I think I've had enough fun for this one right here. But if you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button. Also, if you're not already following me on Instagram, just go right here, click the link in the description box below, where I've been posting stories and pictures of the Ferrari as I make progress on it, and I do it there before anything goes live here on YouTube. And of course, I want to thank the guys over at Specialized one last time for curing our major electrical issues in a very efficient and new school way. Be sure to check them out if you have a Ferrari, BMW, or anything like that that's having any sort of electrical issues that you're having a hard time diagnosing. Chances are it could be the ECU. And I want to thank each and every one of you for watching today. I'll catch you very soon.